You also helped lead us to the highest national finish, not just our program's history, but the school's history. Nothing against 83, third place baseball team. Shout out to the 83 baseball. But we were able to bring home a national runner-up, which was a second place trophy. What are your thoughts about all that?
It feels good. I wish it could have been a national championship trophy, but I think through all the adversity and everything we went through the season, I think it went good.
Yeah,
I feel good about it.
Take us through the race last Saturday. What, first mile, second mile, what was going through your mind?
First mile, I was just trying to go out nice and easy, and it was packed up. And then after that, it was just a roller coaster of emotions. People running by saying, we're winning it, we got it. And then at the end, we didn't have it.
For me, we're cursed by technology. Well, it's a gift and a curse. I had my phone in my hand, and so I was able to see after the first mile, we were fourth. And I was like, well, but then I knew, we had talked about, going out first mile kind of conservative and then just pushing the middle. I kind of wondered because once we hit second mile, we were up. And obviously you started hearing me, which I always thought maybe I hyped us up way too much because we kept pushing. And sometimes you push yourself into, fatigue, and then you're really screwed. But I know for me, at mile 2, we were up, and then mile 3 was our highest point. I was like, you kind of, I could see the faces. And what was funny was when I was running around, there was a school that kept following me everywhere I was at. I felt like they were following me, which that's, that's flattering. But at third mile, I started seeing a difference in the body language on some of our runners. And I don't know if you sensed it with the crowd. What was your thoughts after the third mile? Could you sense anything?
Well, at the third mile, I think I had already caught up to Devin and Ray. So at that moment, I was kind of thinking all right, please follow me. Please just hang on. But at the same time, I was trying to catch up.
Yeah,
they were kind of far. But
yeah, I know. Every coach, is blessed with hindsight. When they're coaching, you're like, man, if I would have known what I know now, I would have done differently. I think it goes for us as well, but you never know because someone could have gone out quick and hung on and so you can never have that argument or not that you gotta live with the hand you play, basically, kind of like poker. Once you put your chips in, you're all in. It is what it is. I could sense the body language, and then I started seeing the faces, and I was like, oh no. And I could feel, it felt like a cloud of, they're losing it. That's what I sensed from the other teams. I know some of the runners at Cali, the fans, and then Northern Iowa. I don't want to say I overlooked them because I knew they were ranked, but there's so much into the us versus Cali the whole year. The home meet, they weren't there because of the COVID. They weren't at Bethel because of the COVID. And then they worked us at regionals.
Yeah,
they did. Yeah. They did. I hate to admit it, they did. But then you had at nationals, all right, man, we run it back. Here it is.
Yeah,
and
sure.
It kind of felt like it was us against them, and that was who was getting, thinking of them. And I was like, okay, we got this many in front of this runner. And then I looked at mile 4, and I was like, oh, we're tied all 3. I was like, oh, geez. Did you know we were tied at mile 4?
I didn't know. But it was kind of like every time we seen Birch, I'd see him every mile. Every time I seen him, it was it went from, yeah, we're doing good, we're doing great, we're winning, and then it was we're still up there, and then it was getting worse and worse every time.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
That's kind of how I think I saw you two. You didn't probably see me after mile 3 because it was I put all my attention on 3, 4, 5, 6.
Right.
I was like, all right, those two are good. They don't need me. They're doing great. These guys need every amount of my emotion. And I felt like if I could say 1 or 2 things to get Devin or Ray and even Phillip, a half mile further or a quarter mile, I could kind of race to the next spot,
right.
Which I obviously am not supposed to be running. My knee was blown up that evening. From this, I'm not supposed to run until January, by the way, if anyone knows. I had surgery. But so when we were running, I was just focusing on them. And I knew when I saw the move that Ray and Devin made after Phillip, because Phillip was in his own little world, which I kept saying I knew that was going to happen eventually. And Phillip ran what Phillip should ran. When he took off, I was like, okay, good. Ray and Devin. This is it right here. And then obviously Michael, because I knew Michael was with the number 4-5 runner of Cali. Number 4 runner at Cali was a tough dude. He was coming after our number 5, and he got within about like 30-40 meters, but I think he kind of pushed too hard and started fading a bit. But he made a run at it. When Michael could get in front of their runner and put points on their score, when I saw with a half mile to go, Devin and Ray move in front of the number 3 runner of Cali, I was like, we're gonna win again, And I was. So all I was trying to do is sprint, like one last sprint inside of me, sprint to the highest part of the finish so I could get to the straightaway. And I don't know if I end up seeing you. I think you had just passed. Then I got to Henos, and I'm like out of breath saying, don't worry, no one's going to catch you. Because I know Henos got to the point where he was looking back, so he didn't have to go any harder. And I think you said you didn't want him running you down, so I'm going to get away from him.
Yeah.
That becomes a point where you can't catch the person in front of you. Who's the person behind you? Oh, it's your own teammate. All right, well, I don't want him beating me, so I got to take off before he can catch me. So when I got to, I saw the finish. You had Phillip, Devin, and Ray. And when they finished, I had the phone with me, and I seen Michael pass their number 5 and 4, but I think their 4 ended up pulling away, but he got in front of number 5. So I see 68-70. I'm like, okay, I'm sitting there waiting for Nyack's score. And then when I seen it, I just was like, what were your thoughts when you saw the final scores?
Well, when I first finished, I seen a lot of red, or I guess we were wearing white.
Yeah.
I seen a lot of white in front of orange, and I was like, kind of counted, and I was like, I think we did it. And then I was like, man, I remember seeing a lot of yellow too. And I looked, and right about when I was thinking that, they said the team scores, and they started celebrating and everything, and I was like,
yeah. I've known that guy for quite some time, so I was happy. I went over and congratulated him. It was cool to see him. He's been grinding for a long time. But obviously I'm disappointed. But it's kind of a consolation. We got national runner-up. You guys did a great job. Got a little bit of get back, which was nice. They ended our streak at the conference, but I got to the point where I felt like it was more important to try to bring a national trophy in than a conference title. But it was real fun to be a part of, especially, if you're a fan of cross country. I think when you see Tide, because I know like former athletes were hitting me up, and I know Austin and some other coaches were like, when we were looking at the live results and clicking, we see 67s all at 1 mile to go. You don't see that very often. Usually it's already wrapped up. So to see that. Looking back on it, you could see Nyack had their number 5 had more points they could make up with their number 5, and that's kind of what happened. But it still was fun to be a part of.
Oh yeah.
Very emotional. I know when I was looking at that picture there, like I was more like just done. I was kind of more of a you're exhausted because it's all it's over with. Especially with the season, with the uncertainty, with the COVID. The masks, just the whole. I was happy to be done with it. So